This happening, hey? Christina's back. I'm front. Everything's just, happening.
I'm topsy-turvy.
Topsy turvy. All right, I pressed the other button. I pressed the button that says press the button. The buttons have been pressed. That's like that's like the theme song of this show. The buttons have been pressed, ladies and gentlemen. Let's
Is this thing
go.
on?
Yeah, they're waiting for that. Straight away. I press live and it's like, bam, let's go. I wonder what they would like to hear us talk about. Who could say? Hi, everyone. Welcome to
Hi.
Uncensored Radio. You see how live we are
Thanks for
back
having
again.
us.
We are back again for another weekend. Oh, pre-weekend. The pre-weekend
Friday
of
the
the
13th
stars.
down under.
It is. It is. It is. Woo.
It'll be Friday the 13th here very shortly.
Yes, there might be something a little bit special. There's comments coming through already. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you guys are waiting and ready. Hello, Celtic Dragon Paranormal. And Ace, we were just talking about you the other way. And Ace has just said dogs, cats, patience. Yeah, we'll get there. 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 Yeah, it's been interesting. It's yeah, we're ready to go. Tim's back. How's Tim?
Hey. Good. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. I was away for a weekend, and then we started soccer in school with the girls. So we've just been like running all over the place. So it just hasn't been any good. Like everything's been kind of like overlapping. So finally today was the first day I've been able to kind of like sit down and be like, okay, yeah, I can get back on tonight. So I don't like missing big gaps of time like that. But I'm back. Everything's good. It was getting cool, and then it was like 80 something again this week. But I feel it's coming. It's coming. The leaves are changing. They're dropping. So we're almost there. We're almost to my season.
Almost here.
And I'm excited. And just looking forward.
Isn't it always cool where you are, Tim? Hey.
Every room I walk in, it gets a little bit cooler. Some days it's even attached to my back.
Hey. Oh, Ace, we're sorry to hear that, but we're glad that you enjoy it. You are joining us, and hopefully we can make you forget your troubles for a little while. Jody, hello from Gang River, Aurora, Colorado.
Oh, thank God.
Sorry to hear that too.
Aurora, Colorado.
I'm sorry, but how nasty could a Canadian gang be? Oh, give us your money. I'm sorry about it, eh?
It was not Canadian gang, it was Venezuelan.
Oh.
I don't know where you heard Canadian.
Canadian. Oh,
the Canadian gang.
Oh, Colorado. I'm totally off. Sorry, I'm just fucking up.
Yeah, it's Colorado.
It's like Canadian gangs. How hard could they be? Oh, don't do it, eh? I'll get the Osmonds onto us.
It's okay. You're from down under. You don't have to.
We'll make them listen to the Osmonds. It'll be okay.
We can keep some parts of our crazy undercover.
Maybe. Yeah, I can't. It's been a very busy week. My crazy's leaking out every hole I've got. Speaking of every hole you've got, hi Christina.
Hey,
how you doing, girl?
You look somewhere else, and all of a sudden your face is just like, oh,
right there. I know, right? Surprise.
Yeah, the week's been good. I think I've been really busy at work. Obviously with all the bank fraud that's been going on. I do not work at Chase, but it's all around. It's not just at Chase.
Is it crazy?
So it's been a week, and then obviously remembering September 11th yesterday was pretty heartbreaking. Every year, you get very emotional.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's crazy to think how far away we are from that, and
I know exactly where I was that day.
Probably a little bit sad that I think the nation / the world has forgotten.
Oh no,
not forgotten, but the idea of the togetherness and unity post that event seems to have long since diminished.
And it's funny, like, not to get too political off the bat, but a lot of people who I've seen, like, content creators from both sides have kind of been calling for a lot of that recently, and I'm hoping that I mean, I don't think it's going to get any better before the election, let's be honest, but hopefully, people kind of do start recalling that a little bit, because, I mean, this is a good mix of people, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have, obviously, any issues with anybody here, and I feel like we have good conversations and all that, but some of these people I see, like, it's just really turned me off with a lot of stuff I've seen, especially, like, in the recent months. People, the way that they're just acting towards each other for having different political, like, it's not so long ago that I remember in my adult life that I remember, like, you just didn't talk about it, right? Like, whoever you were voting for was your business. You closed that curtain behind you, and that was it. It was like, oh, I'm not telling you. Now it's like you have to know. Like, this is how conversations start. Like, well, who are you voting for? And it's like, well, like, who gives a shit? Like, it's none of your fucking business who I'm voting for.
Yeah.
That was my
crazy.
last stand-up showcase. Was about how I was raised Republican, and we didn't talk about this, and now we can't talk about anything else.
Yeah, right. So, crazy.
It's crazy. An election year. Like, it drives us.
It's not just the election
insane.
Year. We have been polarized for at least a decade.
Yeah, I was saying, it's been like the last 10 years.
Yeah, at least
last 3 elections, I guess.
And I really do blame the media. I think the media has split us, and the people who watch right-wing media are getting totally different information than the people who watch left-wing media. There's no middle ground. There's no Walter Cronkite or, Dan Rather to give us the truth.
Both sides.
And I don't mean to go off on a tangent early, but, like, I completely agree, right? And it's like, okay, so you try to take it on yourself to do, like, the fact checking, right? You're like, well, let me look into this and let me look into that. But then I find myself going, okay, so I Google information and then I see who says what. Now I have to be like, is this one a Republican leaning website or is it a left leaning website? Is this one, more moderate or is it more, liberal? And it's like, I don't even trust where I'm getting the information from because I don't know how they skew their answers. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the same answer, just skewed 2 totally different ways, and it's frustrating. It's like your head spins 100 miles an hour because it's like, I don't even know what to believe anymore.
Poll watch. Yeah. I used to love to watch the polls. I was a big fan of Zogby International Pollsters, and I actually participated with Zogby for probably the first 6 years I was out of college with my journalism degree. And I trusted Zogby. I thought that their use of information was tremendous. And then Zogby retired and he sold his stuff off. And I don't trust a single poll out there. It's like you look at one poll and nobody's ahead. You look at one poll and Trump is ahead like 92-8. You look at another poll.
The C-SPAN poll had it like 97-3. Yesterday, I'm like, come on, like for real, like come on.
Not even close to the truth.
Right.
There's no objective truth to find hardly.
No.
And that's the importance of. It's a double-edged sword, yes. But social media and stuff like what we do has to break through. Like, you have to have these voices. Not that we're, the be-all and end-all of political discourse on the internet, but someone might find out a fact that they didn't know from listening to us, and then that makes you then process and look at things differently.
So many stories that I have found on TikTok that are never ever covered in the mainstream
media. Yeah.
And I read the New York Times. The New York Times used to be the greatest source of international and local United States news. Yeah. And the whole Tehran episode 2 summers ago where the woman was beaten to death for her burqa falling off. That was not covered in any United States media. And that went on for like months and months and was a huge political uprising in that country. I remember seeing that on TikTok. The French workers' strike was never covered in any of our media. And I only know about it because of TikTok.
Right.
It doesn't sell oil. Why do we need to know about that?
It doesn't sell anything, but it tells us a story
Move
about
it along.
the world we live in.
Boring.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Human rights, boring. Next story. But yeah.
Taylor Swift.
But
Yeah.
you know what?
We
Somebody
know
shit in
every
the bag
single place
somewhere.
Taylor Swift has been in the last 15 minutes.
And
Yeah.
she does factor into today's news as well. So
I
I think
Sure
we
she
just
does.
have to jump in, right? Here we go. Hold your
Yeah, here we go.
breath.
Hot load of hot topics.
Now, I would be remiss if I did not mention that our very own Miss Christina A. Johnson was looking
Katrina.
hot, the trot, and
Katrina. I
lovely.
think it's Katrina A. Johnson, not Christina.
I said
No, you said
Katrina.
Christina.
Oh my god.
It's all right. It's not your fault. I just want to
Katrina
give credit
A.
where credit is
Johnson.
due.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
just my accent. Maybe it's my accent. I don't
Your
know.
Freudian
You have an
slip.
accent?
Definitely said.
Yeah, maybe it's my accent.
You have
Katrina A.
where,
Johnson.
where do you live?
Looking
She
good,
lives in
looking
Lamb.
stunning at the creative
Beautiful.
art.
Beautiful. Definitely beautiful.
Girl. So I'll be sitting
Stunning.
down with our kitty girl soon, and we'll be discussing the creative arts Emmys and all the things that it takes to get ready for award shows for award season. But she looking good. Yeah, it's like I don't want to be in the same photo as that bitch. It's like, come on.
I don't deserve it.
She did look. She
Looked
did look good.
amazing.
I was
She
gonna
did.
go post stunning, and Christina had already posted it. It's like, oh, what can I come up with besides stunning?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
You
But
scooped it.
sometimes you just need to grab the attention of the world, right?
Right.
By the balls.
And the
right?
easiest
By the
way
vagina.
to do it is to make bold statements. Factual? Question mark. But they're eating the pets. They're eating the dogs and cats of Springfield.
Oh
What
my gosh.
what a movie trailer for this presidential election.
Well, anybody want to go first? 'Cause I got stuff to say.
The only thing I'm going to say about
we
it.
all do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, it came out completely insane, right? The way that he said it. And I mean, I'll start off by saying, I mean, are we talking about a debate here or specifically that quote?
Just
What do we-
anything you want to do,
All right.
Tim.
Well,
Go for it.
I do feel like Kamala absolutely hammered that debate. She did phenomenally in that debate. I wasn't expecting that from her. It's the first time I've seen Trump kind of like stammered, you know? So I think he kind of went off the rails, more so than usual. And I have to say that before he said that, though, I mean, you know, Vera talks about getting news on TikTok, and I don't even trust that anymore 100% because of AI now. But like, I've seen plenty of people at we're sure we've all seen that the black gentleman at the town hall meeting in like the all red kind of like yelling that the guys are stealing the ducks and beheading the ducks at the pond at the park. And there's the video of the woman that called the cops on who had killed and was eating the cat when the cops showed up. And there was a woman today I saw that a couple people reposted. She's like bawling her eyes out that, you know, she doesn't understand how they're killing people's pets. And could you imagine finding your dog beheaded on your front steps? And it's just, I understand that there may not be any official, you know, say or anything official
but if
from
they're
the
saying
town.
they called the cops and the cops are saying they didn't, that story's automatically suspect.
No, and I understand that, but like the cop said in the video, like we didn't walk up on her eating it. That's what the lady who called the cop said. He goes, when we got here, she was just over the dead cat's body. So he can't be like, hey, she's eating a cat, you know. But
I heard the
With
chief
that
from
video,
the Springfield
heard-
police chief said there was no evidence of any pets being murdered.
And that video that everyone has seen of the black woman eating the cat, or the guy walking up and the neighbor saying, I don't know, I just walked up, she was eating it, whatever. Apparently, this was 2 years ago, and it was a resident of a town that was actually like 2 hours out of Springfield. So she was not
so what we're saying is
immigrant.
Context matters.
Yeah.
Yes. However, that is what I'm assuming. I don't know what Trump saw or what he was speaking on when he said that. Okay. But like Tim said, there are other videos, and I have not been able to look into those videos. So like to see if those are actual factual current videos of this time instead of 2 years ago shit that people are reposting.
I
don't
have
know
a
what's real and
question.
what's
I have a
not.
question about that. If they were actual factual, videos, they would be trending,
Yes.
right? That's
Would
how
they
TikTok.
know?
That's how
The
TikTok works.
censorship?
Though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think you can
Yeah.
claim censorship. I don't think you can claim censorship on that. Like, if you look at it, it pops up. If you
Right.
watch one
Yeah.
video of something adjacent pops up. That's how that algorithm works.
Well,
Right.
I wanna take this a little darker. I mean,
Ooh,
we do know that this didn't happen the way it was portrayed. If any of it is true or none of it's true, it was portrayed as happening en masse in a specific town that has a very high concentration of Haitian immigrants.
Yes.
And I want to bring this up in a historical context because eating cats, having tails, demonizing immigrants is an old trope for white supremacists. This has been around forever. This is not new. The Nazis used to say that the Jews had tails and the Jews sacrificed animals in their ceremonies. When the Asians arrived in this country in the 1800s, they were accused of killing cats and pets and dogs and sacrificing animals. This is not a new trope. This is a racist trope that's been around for centuries, and it's used to demonize minorities, and it incites violence. I mean, look at the COVID response when people started calling it the Kung Fu flu and the China flu and the rise in hate crimes against Asian Americans. I mean,
I don't
these
think
are
you can
racist
even.
tropes.
Yes, race. Yes, you can put it in race in this context, but in general, it's it's the whole theme of the X-Men. People fear what they don't understand. So
Well,
when
also,
you look at the AIDS epidemic in the 80s,
right,
like
but this specific episode is targeted against these Haitian
exactly,
immigrants
but
in Springfield.
yeah.
And in Springfield, people who live in Springfield actually laughed. They were in a watch party and they actually laughed when it was said. It was not just said by Donald Trump. It was said by J.D. Vance earlier that day. It was said by Ted Cruz earlier that day. And it's anti-immigrant hate.
Yeah.
I did see one immigrant, another immigrant. He's like, "Oh, look, I'm not Haitian or anything like that." He goes, "But I can speak to the fact that it is in the Haitian culture to eat things that we would normally consider as food." He's like, when they are poverty stricken, they do turn to dogs and pets and cats.
Absolutely.
And voodoo is very large in the Haitian culture, and they do use cat blood, bones, things of that nature. So it also is. I'm not even blaming. I'm just saying that's just not understanding a culture that's also here. You know what I mean? Like you need to take into account that it's just a different culture that we're not used to.
You could also flip that on its head and go, "Hey, Americans on the Oregon Trail had to eat each other. Does that mean Does that mean you guys are going? Where's Grandma?"
Bitch. If they're not able to survive, other ways, if they're not able to afford groceries or food, right? That's why we ate people, right? It's because you do what you have to do to survive. So if they feel that they're on the brink of starvation, they're gonna fucking go grab beef at a local park.
It's not necessarily racially specific, is what I'm saying.
The Springfield.
No, I don't think
you eat to survive.
Right.
Is reporting an economic boom because of the Haitian influx, because they now have a cheap labor force and they have a business boom like they haven't seen in the last 20 years.
Just can't own a pet store there. Or you can, really.
Because people keep coming back, yeah.
That's right.
I have to disagree with Tim. I have to disagree with Tim because I really don't think that Trump was stumbling over much words. I understand the tangents that he went off on, but I think he did great. And I didn't appreciate the little looks and the chin grabs and whatever.
You know what I mean? Like,
Is that not that?
And
Is,
you didn't
but is
feel
that
like
not how he is to other
I was
people?
gonna
Though
say, you don't feel like
He
you've done
didn't
that?
even look at her the
He's
whole
not,
night,
because
which
he's
was
so
even better.
respectful.
I
He's
mean,
so
No,
respectful to
his
people
chin
all the
was so
time.
scrunched up with anger that he looked like he was eating worms.
he was
His
making
lips
faces,
were
yes,
so
but he
his
wasn't
lips
like,
were so
Trying to
pursed, he
control
looked
it.
like a little anus in the middle of his face.
A little anus.
he really was like very animated about it.
He was.
How
I don't
how
disagree,
could you?
but I
I'm
don't think
sorry,
he was
but how
without
could you?
animation.
If someone said that in a room, on that, I would struggle to keep my composure. I'd be like,
No, but
what
no, I'm
the
not even talking about
fuck
that
is?
quote. Like again,
I know,
and I hate that
I
he
know,
even said
yeah.
it because, like, I feel like the whole debate is all about him saying these few words, and yet so
But he
many
said
more
them.
things were dodged and
More
talked
than a
about,
few
and
words.
so it's just
They both
I
did.
don't know. It's just
I
driving me
think
nuts. Like,
I think the best thing to come out of the modern day is that they can be fact checked on air. And I did an
yeah,
article on both of them being fact checked against things that they were saying that were
yeah.
incorrect. So I am not saying, and this is just going to be my few cents. I am not telling you, America, that you must love Kamala Harris, that you have to vote for her. But all I'm saying is, don't vote for him. I
do
don't
not
care if
support
you.
that message.
I don't care if you vote
That's
for
his
Mickey
opinion.
Mouse, but if it was like watching someone argue with a 3-year-old. I saw it on television. But
I don't
hold
agree
on,
with that.
you can't tell me that because
I
you
watched it
saw it on
twice, Steve.
television. You saw it on
I
So
watched
did
it
television.
I.
twice.
So did
You
I.
can't
I had
you
to.
can't just you can't tell me that the television that you watch is real news, because depending on whatever day, fake news is everywhere according to Trump. That's all that TV reports is fake news. So why are you saying that the fake news is a credible source?
Right.
Can't have it both ways, friend. I'm sorry.
Who else
So
does it
The
belong on? Who
outside.
else does anybody
because
belong
you
on?
brought up the fact checking, you don't find it mildly inconvenient that the ABC moderators, one of which happened to be a sorority sister of Kamala Harris, not that she was there at the same time, but in the same sorority, that they were fact checking him on the spot and letting her go with hers
No, because
until
No,
afterwards?
they
also
fact checked him 3
she also
times.
got fact checked.
And
Yeah, but how many times they fact check her?
She
A few
didn't say
times in the
anything
article that I wrote.
egregious. She didn't
Yeah,
say
in
that
the
they were
article,
Fracking.
but not
aborting
live.
babies
Fracking.
post-birth. She did not say they were aborting babies post-birth. She did not say they were killing cats and dogs. And I don't remember what the third fact check was.
She dodged a lot of questions.
Everyone
She
does.
So-
It's called
definitely dodged a
politics.
few, but he dodged a
And
few
yeah,
too.
look, don't. Yeah, that's.
I think he answered every question he could. He did. Like he was
They
presented,
asked him
except for
directly
the.
about the abortion ban, and he made it about immigration. He never answered that
He
question.
said he was going to leave it up to the states. He said many times if he's leaving it up to the states that he's not going to make it a federal law, that he's going to put this to the states. And he said that multiple times that he was going to change.
Because the job's already been done.
Bill,
When you
that he was gonna leave it to the states.
handpick your justices, you've already done your damage. This is
He
just
spent
it's not
multiple
me
He
anymore.
also asked her if she was going to approve abortion, obviously, that if she was going to approve late term abortion, such as like 8 or 9 months. And she, again, did not answer that question. I think he lost his
8
audio.
or 9 months is an 8 or 9 month abortion is not a child that is being aborted electively.
No,
That is not a
never.
mother who says,
Right, that's a medical condition.
I
Right.
just don't think this is going to work
Yeah.
out. Let's return the crib and
Yeah.
get rid of this. An 8 or
No,
9
I think
month
it would be a health
abortion
concern.
is a health concern.
Yes,
That's a
of course.
medical procedure that should be decided between you and your doctor. The
And
government has no
nobody else.
place in that.
Nobody
Yeah, no,
else.
I know. I can
know?
100% agree. Yes, I do.
But he has run on how proud he is to have overturned Roe v. Wade. He's mentioned it multiple
Now-
times.
With that, Vera, while they were in office, can they overturn that? But can they just turn it back over? Like, why did
No,
they?
it'll take
the
time.
Supreme Court
It'll take time.
overturned
Like-
the ruling, the ruling that was made in 1973, maybe. I don't know the exact date. And now it has to be made into law. It has to be approved by the Congress, the Senate, and then signed by a president.
So it's going to start all
Now
over again, basically.
Yeah, they're starting from ground zero. We are
Yeah.
back to coat hanger abortions, especially if they outlaw mifepristone, which is safer for people than Tylenol. Mifepristone is one of the safest, most tested drugs on the market. It has less side effects and less risk than Tylenol. Tylenol you can buy at the drugstore, and mifepristone is about to be illegal everywhere in this country.
It's like,
He
but it's
did
also
say
like
last night that he said 6 weeks was too early. He did say he was going to extend it to 12 weeks and 5 days.
12 weeks is still too early. 21 weeks was the going term, the going extension for elective abortion.
No.
he's struggling.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can't hear a thing.
Really? Because we're shouting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I see you guys yelling. I'm like, maybe it's good that I'm not a part of this right now. So
21 weeks was the accepted standard for elective abortion. Anything after 21 weeks used to be strictly medical.
You've also got to think about, you've been a parent in the modern age, Christina. You think about all the testing that they do for, genetic stuff. It doesn't happen. Like, how can you say to somebody, especially when they find out later throughout their pregnancy, that if that child or that embryo or that whatever is not viable, that you have to carry it to term. Like, that's barbaric. That is.
When you say not viable.
There is a candidate here in Central New York who's running for Congress, whose name is John Mannion, and he tells the story about his Irish Catholic mother who did not believe in abortion, but her child died in utero. And because of the abortion laws at the time, she had to carry that dead child for 2.5 months, knowing every day that this corpse was inside her.
It happened to Debbie Reynolds twice. She tells that shit. I've seen interviews with Debbie Reynolds telling her child died quite early on, and she had to carry it to term because it was illegal to get the abortion. And it happened to her twice.
John Mannion says that his mother lived with the grief of that pregnancy for her entire life.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's not.
It's never an ideal situation when a child has to be terminated after that 21 mark. I mean, 30 weeks is usually considered the point of viability. There are embryos that have lived before the 30-week mark, but anytime that somebody is making that decision after that 21-week mark, this is a heart-wrenching, horrible decision.
It's not an enjoyable process for anyone. No, I don't. I can't say I'm going to get an abortion today.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to feel great about it. No one feels that way.
Do you not think that there's people out there who use it as a form of birth control?
No, I die.
Nobody.
I think there are.
Bullshit on that. I have been
Some people
on this
that maybe
planet
should.
for 63 years. And I've known lots of women, and I don't know a single woman who ever said, "Oh, oopsie, let's just get rid of this." Not
that far.
On the street.
My friends who
would
accidentally, even my friends who got pregnant accidentally, they struggled with. We were in college. They had student loans. Would they be able to have a kid and stay in college? Would they be able to support a kid with student loans? And not stay in college?
Especially now. I don't know how anyone.
Every single person I know
terrified.
had an abortion agonized.
Yeah.
Nobody, I call bullshit. Nobody in their right mind is doing this
Their right
as
mind.
a contraceptive.
Yeah, I like the right mind. Is a good
exactly. I was going to say, like, crackheads and whores, obviously.
No, you can't set the law based on what a crackhead can do. You set the law based on what the majority of people will do.
They're more likely to keep it because it's
money.
Government money. Free money.
I mean,
I'm speaking for over here.
It is a stereotype, but unfortunately,
and any good sex worker would know the risk of pregnancy,
right?
Because it will directly affect business. So you're not going to go out there and let people pump loads up you. You're going to be like, Vegas, strap in, strap on, girlfriend.
Those women make plenty of money. They have unlimited contraception available to them to prevent pregnancy, and they have unlimited health care to prevent the spread of disease. So,
you go, girls. boys and everyone who's out
You know,
there doing sex
not
work.
an elective procedure.
Yeah.
Really. It's nobody's using it like, oh shoot.
It's just, I think it comes down to the question of common sense, right?
Right.
Common sense. And another very good story that Christine is probably going to get a bit feisty about. It's all about common sense and social media and the power of social media.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Chase Bank.
Oh, I know.
I don't know
yeah.
in what scenario in anywhere in the planet that if TikTok tells you to do something to get free money, that you would do it and think that it's okay. So, Christina, you are the resident expert. Talk to us on check fraud, because that's what it is,
fun.
right?
It is check fraud. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Exactly what it is.
Kiting.
Yeah. So, check hiding, exactly. So it's when you're depositing a check from a bank account that has the money in it, and with the clearing process, because some banks only take 1 to 2 business days to clear all the funds. Maybe it'll even be available the same day if it's under a certain amount. And then they use that money, and by the time that money's out of the account, the other account realizes, oh my God, this check was written on, ABC Bank, and now it's deposited at DEF, and DEF Bank is now returning the funds out of the funds because the client already took those funds out of their account. So that's kiting. And people were doing it for a lot of money. Apparently just because of TikTok. I didn't hear about this on TikTok. However, it was happening at my bank as well. So I do have to say, I don't know what the fuck happened, but there was so much goddamn fraud in the past week and a half, and I want to murder myself because I'm on the fraud team, and this is what I've been doing all goddamn day. And
as soon as I saw this, I was like, Christina, oh my God, I have to know. I have to know what's happening.
It's
people,
crazy.
how do you not understand? That is your bank.
belong
That is
to
your
illegal.
bank account with your all of your fucking details
We have
attached
your
to it.
information. We will find
Attached to
it.
it. Do you think that they don't know how much money that you have?
Oh my God! Yeah. Well,
And then you go, and then people are surprised when they're overdrawn by $30,000. But I had $5,000 in my account.
No.
Yeah,
and
until you withdrew $30,000 that wasn't yours, and now you owe us $25,000
Plus fees.
Yeah.
plus fees
Not
and
that,
interest.
right? But I don't know if anybody else thinks of this. How you overdraw your account and you get charged a fee, right? You don't think anything of it. Would you think that who do you think looks at that? Do you think it's just a system thing? Or do you think an actual physical person is monitoring that?
Investigate account.
I would think it goes by the dollar amount, right? Once
Right.
it hits a certain dollar over, then people are like, this is weird. Let me look at
Right.
There would be a
Yes.
process
Yeah.
in place going, oh, you're trying to withdraw $5,000 when you only have 10.
Right. Or
Right.
you
There's
have
alerts.
$115 in your bank account, and suddenly your gas and electric hits the automatic pay for $120.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
And
Right.
then you gotta
You're
pay
automatically
$35 in fees, and
Right.
you're in trouble.
So
But
anytime that happens, it creates a report or an alert. Okay. So there is somebody at your bank right now. Anytime that you overdraw, that's looking at your account to see what the fuck you're doing. Don't think that anything that you do with your bank is not reviewed by an individual person. Hey, how are you? Don't ever think that what you're doing is not being monitored, because it is. I don't care where you are, who you are, what you're doing, what your status is. Today, I just processed a wire for somebody who makes over $20,000 a month. I linked in them because I wanted to see what the fuck it was that they do, because I saw the direct deposit.
Mhm.
I saw the company it was from. It's a very large company in the United States. And I said, son of a bitch, I need to get in. Like, it's just.
I love that you
again,
wired
like,
something. Was it the 1930s? Hello, I'm wiring you through some money.
believe it or not, dude, I send at least 72 wires a day. There's like
That's
at least
crazy.
70 or 80 wires processed a day. Yeah, everybody does wires. Like
Christina,
buying houses
stop.
mostly.
Give me your money. Stop.
Stop.
Yeah, no, it's not a money. It's not a money order. It's not like you're going to
Big
TransUnion and
money.
I mean,
Call
no, it's
457.
a lot more electronic than you think it is. But yeah, I
Blanche,
mean,
can
we
you get
review
to the
everything and
office of the
anything.
bank?
Deposits, check deposits over $5,000 are always reviewed by an individual, looking at the check, looking at the account number that it was drawn on. I have a system that I can see. I can run your routing number and account number, your name, make sure and see what date it was open at that time at that bank, and if it's in good standing. I have a lot of systems and a lot of checks and balances that I can do. Like, I can find a lot of shit about you. I can find every goddamn one of Vera's family members that are attached to her. I could find everything. So it's just, she goes, I can find everyone of Steve's. I can find everyone of Tim's. Like, probably not Steve, actually, because you're not a United States citizen. But again, like, just if you have a social security number, I can find you, and I know what you're doing. Like, so it's silly to me that people thought that they could get away with this and take all this money and not be seen.
There's cameras everywhere,
Oh yeah,
like
that too.
I just ran into the grocery store after work tonight because I need coffee creamer. Or I'm not going to be able to get through work tomorrow. Right. So I went in to grab the coffee creamer and I was going to go through. I went through the automatic self-checkout, and I'm usually going through the self-checkout in a hurry, and it's just bing, bing, bing. And today, Luke, why aren't you at work?
I had to give you one. I'm sorry. I had to give you one.
She's so dead.
I look up and I see the camera, and it's my face, and it says transaction being monitored.
I know. I hate it.
You need to follow me checking out my coffee creamer.
They got me at Aldi the other day, and I looked up and go, "Oh God, it's me."
I did this.
It's a lot of theft. I get it. Actually, funny story. I was with my sister the other day at Walmart. We were shopping, like what 2 Saturdays ago? 2 Saturdays ago.
Tim's like,
we were at Walmart. We went to self-checkout. Melissa was buying things, right? So she's buying school supplies. And the binder separators with the tabs? They're like plastic dividers for your binder. So she took one off the shelf that didn't have a barcode on it. Now, she was also buying 5 stacks of like loose leaf paper, whatever the fuck it was. And she goes, "This is going to have a thing." I said, "Just throw it on the fucking thing." What can it be? $1.99, $2, $3? She goes, no. She waited around for a self-checkout attendant to come up and be like, she's like, "I'm going to go back and get one." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding?" I mean, Tim, 5 goddamn minutes I waited at that self-checkout like a lone child waiting for his mom to go get an extra fucking loaf of bread.
This might make me a bad... This might make me a bad person. If I have to wait more than 3 minutes, I'm taking it.
It's free. It's free.
You can't have to wait more than 3 minutes. I came up with a hack with the self-scanners, where I was like, as long as I scan the big items, and if you don't delete anything off a self-scanner, you don't get audited.
Right.
You only get audited if they see you deleting an item on it. So, if you buy 6 bottles of soda and you only scan 5, no one's checking.
Or if I buy 12 bagels and I only bring up 6. Nobody's looking, so it's just
just letting everyone know that when Tim and Christina aren't on the show next week, we will know why.
Coming live to you from Riverhead Correctional Facility.
Vera and your creamer.
You can hear someone over my shoulder. You got 10 minutes.
I welcome the vacation.
And you've also got a pretty mouth.
I don't care.
Hey, if it was Luke
Evans or Hugh Jackman.
If it was Luke Evans or Hugh Jackman, Tim would be fine. He's like,
all right.
Hetero? Question mark, Tim.
I know everyone does it, so don't act like you don't do it.
There's always exceptions to the rule. Yeah.
What was the line in Shameless? Did anybody else watch Shameless?
Yes.
The line in Shameless where the dad there says that
Yeah.
prison. That's not gay. That's prison. Something.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what it
Yeah,
was.
I don't remember the line. I know exactly what you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
You do what you got to do in prison. You got to get by.
Yeah.
You do what you gotta do. Well, some things you don't have to do. Some things you choose to do, and it may, cause your reputation as the nicest guy in rock and roll to get tarnished. Dirty Dave
Oh.
Grohl.
Dirty
I did not
Dave.
expect this.
There
Dave Grohl
goes
has
my
fathered
hero.
a child out of wedlock.
I mean, people are
bad.
surprised. I don't really understand.
I am
Yeah.
because
Really?
he has this nicest guy in rock and roll family kind of like
See, he's always
image.
struck me as an asshole.
Well, yeah,
I'm
me
very
too.
I had
smart.
moments of both.
But
had
the
moments
the
where I
public
thought
perception
he's pretty cool.
of him, because he's always like, Courtney loves a whore, and Courtney's crazy, she does bad things.
She does.
Which she does, but extramarital affairs aren't really the pot kettle.
Can't throw stones.
Yeah, can't be throwing stones there, Dave. That was interesting news because my brother's a huge Foo Fighters fan, and I was like, "Oops, Dave, whoopsie doopsie on there." Like his statement on Instagram: "I've recently become father to a new baby daughter, born outside my marriage. I plan to be a loving and supportive parent to her. I love my wife and my children, and I am doing everything I can to regain their trust and earn their forgiveness. We're grateful for your consideration towards all the children involved as we move forward together." I love it that they're like, "Please don't ask us questions for the children." Like, just keep your dick in your pants, bruh.
That's a real concern. That is a real concern. I thought that was a genuinely sweet statement. I didn't have a problem with that statement.
Nah, it would have been fine if he didn't say it at all. But he's like, "I had an affair, but please don't ask us about it for the children." It's already public knowledge, brother. The damage is done. The damage is done. If you didn't want your children to be affected by your actions, don't do the actions in the first place, because you're a fucking adult and you're a celebrity.
Did he not think that it was going to be talked about, or that nobody would find out? And coming out and saying
that everything could ever feel this good forever.
Yeah, I just feel like, again, it's not a surprise to me. I feel like anybody who goes on the road and does these shows and is away from their family for so long and doing all those things, I just feel like that's
again. What a great really advertisement for sexual responsibility and contraception and positive choices and all that kind of thing. Obviously, this lady didn't go get an abortion because
cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
18 years. Watch there be a couple more Foo Fighters albums coming our way very soon.
Retirement number.
Yeah, more remastered and unreleased tracks.
I know, right? I'm from the basement of Dave's fucking bank account. It's called How You Really Feel. I've never been backwards and coming forwards, Jody. I don't know what you're saying. Look, I've got to pick up the Jeffrey slack. He's not here to be like a bitch to everyone, so I'm kind of picking up the Jeffrey slack now.
He blew me off for dinner.
This next person's music has often made me want to jump off a bridge, but
I love Bon Jovi.
He saved someone.
He did.
Bon Jovi saved
someone.
Talk
about this for 2 seconds. Can I just throw some shade here?
Please.
Wasn't he shooting a music video on the bridge?
Yeah.
At the same time, coincidentally, that this happened?
I think this is staged, not by John, but by the girl
someone.
Or the person, by the person that was jumping. And I hate to say air quotes, but I mean, oh my God, John Bon Jovi's on the bridge. You know what? Maybe if I do this, I'll get some attention. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I mean, mental health is a huge issue in our country. Okay, I'm going to put it out there.
It's just a very weird coincidence.
Opportunity presents itself. I don't know. I want a hug from Bon. Yeah.
I have a personal Bon Jovi story.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
semi-personal.
Oh,
Yeah,
hold up.
You jumping off a bridge also?
Okay. So,
It's going real.
okay. So, I'm a huge Bon Jovi fan. Huge. Growing up, my aunt is only 15 years older than me. So when I was growing up at my grandmother's house, she was, young and in high school and, whatever. And she had a poster of Bon Jovi and she always listened to Bon Jovi. So I started like Bon Jovi. One of the first albums I ever bought personally was Crossroads, which is Bon Jovi's best hits. So love Bon Jovi, right? Then when I was in college, one of my roommates, his girlfriend from Staten Island, was his nanny in Jersey. And she said that she said his wife, great person. He could not have been a bigger, pompous, arrogant, narcissistic piece of shit. She's like, I hated work for him. I was uncomfortable for him every time he came home. This is just her opinion. Allegedly, I'm not saying any, I don't want to, I know this is going to go viral. I'm going to get TikTok famous.
Hey,
off
hold
of
on. We haven't had to do it for a while.
Yeah,
I'm out of practice.
only when I speak, apparently, we have to throw this up there.
No, this is very much a crawl that we've used a lot.
So,
I'm out of practice.
And it crushed me. It crushed me when I found that out. I was like, my heart, like she had ripped out my heart and thrown it on the floor. And like every once in a while, I'll pick up my cassette of Crossroads and I'll pet it and I'll cry.
You were shot through the heart.
And who's to blame?
Does he give love a bad name?
He gave love a bad name.
Yeah.
So many song puns this week. I love.
Right?
I just think it's weird to have an open set for a music video in general.
Yeah.
Too many variables, right?
Yeah.
The bridge was open. The bridge was open to the public, but then
I always
again,
think, wouldn't it be funny if somebody was like, "We can't have an open set, John"? Like, could you imagine if someone tried jumping off the bridge while we're filming? Someone was like, "What the hell are the odds of that?"
It's just.
But
judging
by the reviews of the latest concerts and the videos that I've seen on TikTok, they need all the publicity they can help for John's failing voice. So
that's why I'm saying all these things. It's just like
it's very coincidental.
I'm not gonna lie, I felt that way too. That this kind of seemed a little phony, but
and the news came out here on Are You OK Day.
That did not strike me as phony, but I'm willing to concede that there are people who would definitely take advantage of an open.
So Are You OK Day in Australia is like a suicide awareness thing. We have a national day of
September.
Isn't this like Mental Health Awareness Month too?
Yeah.
Right? Didn't they make this Mental Health
Awareness Month? Yeah.
But we have a specific, especially with with Australian males, we have a very high suicide rate here.
Males in general, I think, are higher than women. I think.
Yeah.
A lot of clips, though, right?
So,
and males tend to be more violent in their self-harm.
Look, there's some stories in the media that I was going to cover, but I got a bit too passionate reading it. So I was like, I can't have it on the show this week. There's too much passion. There's too much passion flying around this week. So maybe next week I'll write an article.
Oh, wait, no, about what? You can't just say that and leave it.
It's about two little boys that were found dead in their house, and there is
we'll talk about it next week.
There is a woman that is in police custody, and it's a sad tragedy. Where if it was the father that would have done it, he would have been the most evil monster in the world.
That's just evil.
It is the way that the Australian media chooses to portray things, and it's part of the mental health. It's part of the mental health conversation that I think it should be, regardless of sex, regardless of sexuality, regardless of race, etc., etc. If you have mental health problems, it's a tragedy, and especially when it affects children and the families of people that are involved. Take away this, and it can go towards what we're talking about with politics. Take away your specific point of view out of it. We should be looking after each other as a global community, as a social. Like, even we've talked about it. How many of us know our neighbors anymore? Like, how did old love last week sit in that bank for 4 days,
Oh,
slowly
Katrina,
rotting.
you got any
You know?
scoop for us? You were going to look into that.
No, oh my God.
You
I
know,
tried to
that's
call my
part of the.
Wells
This
Fargo
is all
connection.
part of the problem. We want to point out the things that divide us and the things that make us. You know, these are the bad people and these are the good people. Can't we all just be people that are trying to, survive in a world? I sound like a hippie. Maybe I should go back to the
It's
70s.
very-
it's funny, like how apropos Ferris Bueller is, right? Like life is going on. If you don't stop and take a look around, you know what I mean? Like we're so buried in our phones that we don't pick our heads up to see shit that's going on around us anymore, or the people around us. You know, and it's sad that somebody goes unnoticed for days, fucking dead in a building. Like that's insane.
There is someone who went away.
I told you guys this story last week. I'm pretty sure I did, but I was Saturday morning is when I catch up on my Uncensored Radio Facebook page, and I was reading the story, and I came down the stairs, and my sister was in the hallway between our two houses, and I saw her on the other side of the door. And I had thought while I was reading it, I will never go 4 days without Dia saying, Mira's car hasn't moved. What's wrong? You know?
Where is she? Yeah.
And so I opened the door and I give her a big hug and I said, thank you for being the one who would not let me sit around it 4 days dead.
Let's be honest.
The story at all, and she automatically goes to,
let's be honest. Do you need somewhere to drink wine? Do you need someone to drink wine? I love the end of the show when you hear ice in the glass. Like, here comes Dia. She's coming. But there is someone who will be sorely missed, ladies and gentlemen. A legend.
I know. This made me sad.
James Earl Jones. R.I.P. my friend.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's one of those guys you just never thought would go. He's just been around forever, so you just kind of take his.
He's been. I feel like he's
forever. He was old when I was young.
He's one of those old, forever old guys. Forever old guys. But
I know it's funny because I said to my nieces, I said, "Have you ever seen Sandlot?" Because like Haley didn't know who he was, and then you said Darth Vader. And then we said something else, like the voice of somebody, right? Mufasa, right? And then,
that's what I said.
I was like, Haley, I said, have you ever seen Sandlot? And she goes, no. And I'm like, because he was old in Sandlot. Like, to me, he was the old guy in Sandlot.
I know all the guys in Sandlot are a million
Smalls.
So like again, like you said, like he's the forever old guy, like like a Morgan Freeman too. Like he's just
but we are very entrenched in our in our culture of when we grew up and where we sit and how old people are considering their
Field of Dreams. Am I the only one who remembers Field of Dreams?
No, Field of Dreams. I remember Field of Dreams. Absolutely.
How many of us are interested in this though?
Oh,
who's not interested in that?
Probably pretty excited.
Right.
I just
Goonies 2, finally.
Yeah, finally.
You guys!
It's the whole original cast.
It's been so
long. The whole original cast is coming back, I heard.
Well, I heard.
I just saw somebody else posted about it today. I don't remember where I saw it. I want to say it may have been I hope I'm saying it correctly. Puberty? Is that how you say that?
Yeah, puberty.
I think that they posted that they anticipated the whole cast coming back. So
at least, I can imagine at least in some capacity. Like I don't know. I would imagine in some capacity. I don't think you're going to rely on Corey Feldman to sell your movie in this day and age. Right.
Although, who would not go see a full-length feature film with him in it nowadays?
Only if he does the music. Only if he does
the
music as well.
Rudy,
oh my god!
But here's the thing: we're joking about Corey, but every now and then an actor has a turn, and you go, "Serious actor?" ? Is that happening for Pamela Anderson?
No.
Have you guys heard the buzz around The Last Showgirl?
I've heard it, but I haven't seen any of them.
I'm going to be...
Honestly, only what I've read on UCR.com.
Hey. It will be very... She's in good company in that movie, though.
Yeah.
Like Jamie Lee Curtis, Billy Lord, Keenan Shipka, the younger actor, Dave Bautista. He doesn't even look like himself anymore.
I know.
He's so slim and trim. Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
Groot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, not Groot. He was what's his name? Oh, Drax. Drax.
Yeah, right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right, Vin
He's
Diesel was
getting
yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis is weeping on stage because Pamela and Dave are so revelationary in their performances in this movie, and it's getting Oscar buzz for Pamela Anderson.
I mean, good for her.
I mean, good.
I hope so.
I
hope so.
think
Like, good on her.
Didn't have it in her. I didn't really. I thought she just picked bad scripts.
I mean, I saw this great movie she was in when I was about 13. I think it was called Barbed Wire.
Don't
That had
call
my
me
attention
babe.
for 90 minutes.
Okay,
Her in
is
a
that a
latex
porno?
bodysuit.
In the
entire movie.
bathtub, that did make me feel some confusing feelings, actually. Pamela in the bathtub going,
Please.
those dudes floating, just floating.
Oh,
Just
phenomenal.
but no, pick. Some more good news, bad news. Of course, this week we had some great news from the palace that Kate Middleton has finished her cancer treatment and is essentially cancer-free as of the report. Yeah, look, it is such a...
It's never a guarantee.
It's never a guarantee.
Yeah.
As people who have
Too
been
soon to
through
be in
this
remission,
process know,
I think.
she has, at the moment, she is cancer-free. So,
Yeah.
muzzle to her. I know that we received a little bit of when we were reporting on it, but it was public news. That's what we do. Cancer has, I'm sure that in the people that are on this screen and people that are involved, cancer has touched everyone's life in some shape or form. So, congratulations, Kate. I'm glad that she's looking forward to getting back to public life and all that kind of thing. And as I said, my big thing back in the day was about awareness, and she says that will be her driving force moving forward. And I think if you need a face to represent cancer in young people, who better?
Yeah.
Who better? She's an eloquent speaker. She is, a worldwide face, and if it can touch her, it can touch anyone. So more power to you. Good work. We did talk about the cat lady before, but this is just a great photo.
It is a great photo.
I live for it. I live for the cat lady photo. But we're talking good news, bad news, and I don't think that anyone else cares. But I am mortified that Kathy Bates is going to retire. What's the world going to be like without Kathy Bates just all of a sudden going?
I mean, what's she been? What has she been in recently?
Do people retire anymore?
She's been in a lot of American Horror Stories.
Oh, she's been in a lot of
yes, I do know.
She's done any character part since she played Misery.
So she's starring in the new reboot of Matlock.
Oh, okay.
Uncertain as to that will be her final role. I guess depends on if it gets renewed, right?
Right.
It's my final role.
Though. I have a quick question. In a recent interview, she said that there was one role of her life
I want to know
that she regrets. Does anybody have any idea what they think it
must be recent?
That she took or that she didn't take?
She took the role. She took it very seriously. She expected it to be wonderful. She researched it. She did a lot of work on it. And when the final director's cut hit the screen, she was very disappointed in the way it came off. And it's her one regret as an actress. And I was wondering if anybody had any thoughts.
I do believe she said it was a movie as well.
Yeah.
So, because I was thinking maybe she was talking about American Horror Story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought she was talking about Daphne Del Laurie, who is notoriously a horrible, horrible human being, and she was played for comedy a little bit in American Horror Story.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think it's a movie. I love shit like this.
I wondered if it couldn't possibly be Misery.
That's what I was gonna say.
No, do you know?
But that was so well done, though. I feel like.
Do you know what movie I think it is? What was that movie about the bombing guy, and she was the mother? That was recent. And he went
Oppenheimer.
No, not the big bomb. It was about
I didn't see
a guy that got done for terrorism. Oh, and she was the mother. I think that was it.
The Timothy McVeigh.
Yeah, maybe.
The Oklahoma City bomber.
Yeah, I think it might have been that one. I don't know if it was Oklahoma City, but it was something.
Or it could have been the Ted Kaczynski.
I don't know. No, I don't think it was a big name. It was just some random dude that. Anyway, if you know what I'm talking about.
Until the bombs went off.
Every random dude until they find your manifesto. Until they find your manifesto in a shack.
Right.
Can't wait till they find my manifesto.
I don't have one.
My manifesto is going to read Kendrick Lamar for halftime music show.
Like, that is the dumbest fucking choice they could have possibly made. And I
Right.
like Kendrick Lamar. I like Kendrick Lamar.
too.
But
Yeah.
what a stupid fucking, like, what a dumb choice. You talk about, like, alienating half of your fucking fan base. You know what I mean? Like, just what a
Yeah.
random
Right.
selection.
Or at least
Random.
make it like the year that they had Eminem, and that
Everyone,
was fucking
yeah.
awesome. Like have
Yeah.
another group show if you want to focus on. But
So
I
bizarre.
don't think I don't think he's at the level of
No, he's just such a niche
Dave
rapper.
and, like
He's
you
just
want someone that's got a show. Like,
he's just different. He just operates on a different level. He's not popular. You know what I mean? He's smart.
oh no,
not
Vera,
popular.
Color
we
me,
jump?
color me shady. I only watch for the game.
Oh, I don't
I
watch
watch for
halftime shows.
I watch for the concert that's surrounded by the
I
football
really only
game.
watch it for the
They've got the
game.
ball and they've stopped. We'll be back after the break. They run 3 feet. They stop. We'll be back after the break.
Yeah,
American
that's
football, man, kill me. Oh.
That's not how I see
someone
it.
sneezed. We'll be back after the break.
Can I ask Vera?
How close did he get? Or he third down or second down? Oh my God.
Who knows? Vera,
I
yeah,
do.
go,
Before we
Christine.
go into Vera's vent, can I
Thank
ask
you,
Vera a
Christina.
question?
She has
Can I
a
ask
question for you,
a,
B.
a question for Vera, because just you being a Republican and I want to, and I understand you're going to support whoever they put up there, right? But with Kamala not getting any votes, is she who you would want to truly represent your country? Is that, or were you looking to have somebody else up there?
Given
if you
the way
could have
that it
somebody
all
else.
shaked out, given the way it all shook out, given the way it all shook out, she is the only one that would have been appropriate because she was on the ballot as a Biden-Harris ticket. To have scrapped her and gone over her to get to Newsom or Buttigieg or anybody else would have really been unfair.
You would have turned into Australia, where we just get rid of our prime ministers like,
I
woman gone.
And I do want to ask Vera what Kamala was asked last night that she didn't answer was, do you feel as though you are better off or we are better off as a country as we were 3.5 years ago?
Oh, absolutely. Without a fucking
You
doubt.
really do.
I really do.
Can you explain why you feel that way?
Absolutely. 3.5 years ago, I could not find toilet paper. I had to spend $12 for 4 rolls of toilet paper from fucking Mexico that disintegrated on my hand when I tried to wipe my fucking ass. There was not a store in this town that had chicken by the time I got off my shift the day they shut the country down. And the inflation during COVID was at 19% at the highest point. And all of the supply chains problems that we're having that keeps continuing to drive this global inflation were a result of the war in the Ukraine shutting down the breadbasket of the world. The majority of the wheat in this world was raised and shipped out of the Ukraine. And the shutting down of the Southeast Asian supply chain, which supplied like 70% of our medicines, like 80% of our goods and products. You know, all of the Pacific Rim was shut down when it was the China flu. And we are, 3.5 years ago, the pandemic made this world a hellscape. And economists across the world believe that the Rimmies for COVID, Jesus Christ.
Fucking Luke, man, really.
That was me, actually.
Do say
really?
the American economy rebounding as quickly as it did has driven the economy of the globe back up. Inflation is still around, but the majority of inflation that we are seeing now is not true inflation. The definition of inflation is cost of goods going up due to cost of production. Cost of production has stabilized, and corporations are making more money now than ever. There is a tremendous amount of international price gouging going on. So yes, I definitely feel we are better off than we were 3.5 years ago. But if you want me to get into my vent, since we're already at 1:03 or 1 hour
1
3,
minute. We got time. We can do whatever we want. But maybe we should roll the.
To compare and contrast the two economic plans as laid out by Kamala and by Donald. Okay.
Here we go. What an interesting segue for beer events. Okay, here we
go. A lot of the arguments that I actually wrote 3 different vents, but this is the one I'm going with. A lot of the different arguments that I've heard about Kamala's financial plans are the high cost of socialism. And a lot of the arguments against Donald's financial plan are the misuse of tariffs. So I did a real deep dive on what real economists, global economists, think of both plans. And here's what I got. Now, Kamala's plan is very heavily drawn on public service initiatives, including the housing initiative, which will cost $20 billion, and the small business initiative, which is unclear how much that exactly will cost because many of the points in her initiative have already been enacted as part of the recovery program. But the main reason that I bring this up is because everybody's like, we can't afford that socialism. We can't buy people's houses. We can't pay off student loans. We can't have child care initiatives. But if you just look at the tax increases that Kamala has proposed, and they're very moderate tax increases, they are not the leftist socialist tax increases that Bernie Sanders had proposed in the past. Just taxing corporations and people making more, or people worth more than $100 billion, you would raise $80 billion a year in revenue. $80 billion a year in revenue, more than covers the housing initiative, the small business initiative, and child care tax credits. Donald Trump's proposal is to raise tariffs, and he uses tariffs quite liberally. He's very proud of the idea of tariffs, but tariffs are essentially a tax on foreign goods. They are not China paying us extra money to sell their goods here. They are Americans paying extra money to buy Chinese manufactured goods. Okay, so it is a tax that will be passed on to the American public. Essentially, tariffs were designed to boost local economies so that Americans had an incentive to buy union-made, American-made goods that cost a little more than the Chinese or other East Asian countries, or even, European nations that cost more than other products, so that we could maintain a strong middle class. And Trump is correct that it would raise money for this government, but he is not correct that he would be taxing China or any other country. He would be taxing people buying goods in this country. That being said, I went through 3 different sources. I went to international sources, Moody's Analytics, Goldman Sachs, and Penn Wartner. And Moody's an analytics set of Kamala's that she is doubling down on her commitment to lower and middle class families. And she has proved that she can pay for it with the increased tax on wealthy corporations and wealthy humans. She's often been accused of being too liberal, but this is a very centrist plan and is willing to cut taxes, lower the taxes on capital gains and other middle to high income taxes that have been complained about by people of money. Moody's, Goldman Sachs, and Penn Wartner all agree that her plan would have a net positive effect on economic growth, inflation, and job growth. On Donald's increased tariffs, they say that could move in a positive direction, but the crackdown on immigration and the rollbacks of jobs for sub-minimum wage jobs would be a clear danger to the economy. that much slower growth would be seen and higher inflation rates could be seen as early as the first year of that economic program. And tariffs and tightened immigration would outweigh any positive gains from the tax incentives that he wanted to put into place. And there was one more comment that I had from, it was an overall analysis that Harris' plan would increase corporate taxes and would offset all of its costs in spite of the people's hesitation for socialist programs. And Trump's plan could spark a recession that is unclear depending on how the tariffs are rolled out by as early as mid-2025 and could escalate inflation. His overall economic growth would be less than 1%, but it would be a positive growth. And in the years after the first year, it could be well below 1%. So there is the head-to-head comparison of the two financial economic plans that were rolled out on the debate the other night in between the talk about dogs and cats and post-birth abortions.
I really missed out on calling this episode The Truth About Cats and Dogs, didn't I?
You did. Though I gotta say, Luke gets the crown for lamb chop second helping.
It was good. It was good. All these numbers and stuff though have my brain hurting. We should maybe a little palate cleanser before we leave.
Okay.
This one goes out to Tim.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, Luke Evans. That's all.
What is he always posting pictures like that? Is that was that?
Yeah.
Like he's
got a hot butt. He's gay, single, has a hot body. Of course he is.
I thought he wasn't single. I thought he had a husband.
No, he's just throwing it around. So Tim, let's hope.
Tim?
What happens in the dark stays in the dark, my friend. It's all
I'm trying to
good.
find that quote about jail, actually.
Although if you manage to shoot Luke Evans, I'd be telling everyone. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen,
that's not something you keep
boys
to yourself.
and girls.
Yeah.
I think even your wife would be like,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Well
if
done.
I was the guy that got Hugh Jackman and I broke that story, like that would be phenomenal.
oh,
Hugh Jackman.
please do it for the show, Tim. Please, take one for the team, quite literally.
Melissa would totally understand. We're watching an awful lot of Wolverine right now. Like, just set up.
Let me tell
Shut
you,
up.
if you stooped at Hugh Jackman, she'd be loving you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Speaking of money for the rest of your life, hello.
Yeah. How about money for Friday?
Yeah, you're like, you got that Wolverine money, girl. You okay? You okay? Well, thank you for joining us, everyone. It's been a roller coaster. Christina's just like, she's done. She's exhausted. I feel like that's what the debate did to everyone. We're all exhausted. Look, it's September.
Do you remember?
Not long now. Like the election's getting closer, but who knows?
You know what I gotta say? You know
what'll
what
happen.
I love about changing horses midstream? It has shortened the fuck out of this election.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's like who shot JR? It's like
Yeah,
whoa,
like, wow.
we've breathed new life into this show. I thought we were heading for cancellation, but hello, who knows what's gonna happen? You got a saucy
Now
black
the
lady
whole
and a
thing-
saucy grandpa here to really upset
The whole
everyone.
thing
It's
got
like,
kicked up, and we only got 55 days left.
counting down the days, but there could be something special dropping tomorrow for the Americans that love a good scare at camp. You never know who's lurking in the woods.
Never know. Oh, and it's the 13th. See you Friday the 13th.
Oh, Friday the 13th, September, old news. I got married on Friday the 13th in October. So,
So if Jason was going to kill anyone, it would have been me.
yeah,
You know what? I
but I'm not
can't
lucky
stand what
enough.
goes around TikTok. Talk about the bullshit on TikTok.
Uh,
This year,
yeah, look-
Friday the 13th, the Halloween falls on Friday the 13th. No, it fucking doesn't. Halloween always falls on the 31st. It will never
Yeah.
fall on the fucking
How is that
13th.
physically
Get a
possible?
goddamn calendar. You people who fall for this are all the assholes who just kited $50,000 and are going to jail.
And we hope that you meet the Luke Evans of your dreams there, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week. Take it easy. Bye.